Hold up. Wait a minute. Did you hit the like button? Drop some rabbits in the chat. Let's go.
Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. If you want the tea, come see me. Rabbit hole is the place to be for real news, not fake news. Celebrity news, breaking news around the clock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock, I rock, I rock. Real talk, best on the block. I rock, I rock. Hit that like, hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat, chat. Hit that like, hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits, drop some rabbits, drop them, drop them, drop them, drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. True crime is my specialty. Exposing the industry. Unsolved mysteries. Sticking to reality. Fair use commentary. Talking about cults. Trying to get results. Exploring hopes. Exploring. Researching. Debunking. Investigating. Being nosy. Super nosy. Being messy. Being shady. Rabbit hole news. That's me. The chick with ADHD. Unmedicated. But quite educated. Hit that like. Hit that like. Welcome to the chat. Let's chit chat. Chat. Hit that like. Hit that like. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Drop some rabbits. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop them. Drop some rabbits in the chat. Drop some rabbits. Hit that like. Hit that like. Let's go. Let's go. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show.
Oh, hey. Sorry, y'all. I was trying to set up. Then a couple things were coming to my feed, and I was like, well, we got to talk about that. We got to talk about that. We got to talk about that. And I'm sleeping in more, and I love it. Hold up, y'all, my camera. And I love it. I'm taking advantage of it. So I do apologize. Hold on. Let's go full screen for a minute. I do apologize for being very much late. Very much late. I do apologize. Forgive me. I'm late. It's my fault. But shout out to everybody in the chat, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome. Let me see who I have here in this beautiful, wonderful morning. Naldo, how are you? Shout out to you. Betty. Thank you. Pamela. Storm. Unalive Monroe. Welcome. You guys, I'm sleeping in and I love it. I'm sleeping in and I love it. And so I'm taking advantage of it. So I'm waking up a lot later and it is what it is. Dazzler, how are you? Mercy Miami, how are you, my love? Sylvia, yes, I'm going to start driving now. I'm sorry I'm late. I'm sorry. Lady Pamela, welcome here for the show. Thank you. I'm just skimming. Yanni, how are you? Marsha P, welcome. Thank you guys. Smiley, welcome. Rachel, good morning. Veronica, how are you? Shout out to you, Veronica. Let's see. Pika's in the house. Let's see. I think I saw Cheeks earlier. I don't know. Maybe I'm seeing things. Mags, Doris. Sorry I was late. I do apologize. I'll probably be late again. I will, because it is what it is. That's what I do. Let's see. Thank you for waiting patiently, Doris. Thank you guys. I do apologize. But like I said, hey Morris, thanks for coming on my feed. And I woke up a little bit later today, which I loved. And I'm enjoying because I'm catching up on some sleep that I definitely missed throughout the last 2 months. So, I got to do what I got to do. Okay, guys, welcome. Hey, Belen, how are you guys? Do me a favor and hit that like button, please. And thank you. Get us out there to the algorithm lands. Hey, Coochie Cooch, how are you, my love? Shout out to you. Shamika, how are you? Shout out to you. Thank you. Hey, minds, y'all. Didi, all my people are here. I love it. Hey, Sari, welcome. I gotta take advantage of it because like I said, I'm recuperating from the last 2 months and I loved it. I love it. But I have arrived and I'm here and I'm super late, but that's okay. All right. So a couple things. I kind of had a little bit of a note of what I was going to talk about today. But then when I was on Twitter, I noticed that Inner City Press, well, it was through Diddy Docket that I noticed that Inner City Press was tweeting about L.A. Reid and Drew Dixon. So L.A. Reid and Drew Dixon have had this lawsuit, I believe, since 2017. Some of it involved Russell Simmons. If you guys remember that HBO doc, Drew Dixon made allegations against L.A. Reid and Russell Simmons. And there's a hearing, and I'm so late for it. I've actually pulled documents on other videos about it. So why don't we get to that first, and then we're going to get into Juror Mr. Bean, which is number 6 alternate. Allegedly. Now, I didn't baptize him as Mr. Bean. You guys did in the chat, and I believe that came from, shout out to Mims. That might have come from Mims' channel. That's what you guys said, because he looked like Mr. Bean, but he's like giving interviews to, like, to TMZ, to, everybody. So, it is what it is. We're going to talk about that. I think it was. I don't, don't quote me. But somebody said in the chat that it came from Mim's channel, which I thought it was hilarious because he does kind of, now that he said it, I cannot not see it, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this right here, because it is a little bit, I didn't even know they had a hearing going on. Somewhat of a bit of a breaking news here. So L.A. Reid, who's friends with Oprah, who's friends with a lot of people in the industry, okay? So now at Drew Dixon versus L.A. Reid. All right. And hopefully everybody here knows who L.A. Reid is, right? Former CEO of Epic Records, Arista Records, record producer, huge guy who's in charge of a lot of artists, Usher, Pink, a lot of people, a lot of people in the industry, had a lot of dealings, I think with TLC as well. They didn't get paid. So L.A. Reid is very much a huge head of the music industry. Please drop a 1 in the chat if you know who L.A. Reid is. I just want to make sure everybody knows who L.A. Reid is. Now, he has been kind of staying in the dark, and he hasn't said a whole lot. Yeah, he's a huge head of the music industry. Babyface comes to mind. Okay, everybody knows. All right, I just want to make sure, because I'm like, I don't want to see somebody say, who's L.A. Reid? And I'll be like, oh my God, really? We don't know who? All right, then. Okay, cool. So L.A. Reid and Drew Dixon, for those that don't know, have had like this ongoing lawsuit, right? Drew Dixon made some allegations against L.A. Reid. I'm going to see if I can pull an article real quick. So for example, this is the New York Times. The music producer L.A. Reid is accused of SA in lawsuit. This was a suit that was filed by Drew Dixon in federal court in Manhattan, under the Adult Survivors Act. Says that Mr. Reid misconduct cut short her career in music. So Drew Dixon worked with L.A. Reid, and she worked with Russell Simmons. She also filed a lawsuit against Russell Simmons. And that, my friends, is a whole different dinosaur. Oprah got involved. They did a documentary, and then Oprah backtracked, or she did something. It was so weird. Oprah has been subpoenaed into that whole situation. So we'll see how all of this goes down. I'm so here for it, because this is going to be, I think, one of those lawsuits that, is really going to shake the music industry. There's been many of them, but I think Drew Dixon specifically is going to be one of those. And to me, Drew Dixon has always demonstrated to be very credible and honorable. But we will see what comes out of this situation. So for those that don't know, the Grammy Award-winning music executive Antonio Reid, who is known as LA and rose in the industry working with artists including Usher and TLC, has been accused of SA and harassment in a lawsuit by Drew Dixon, who worked for Mr. Reid at Arista Records. The suit filed at the Federal District Court in Manhattan Wednesday says that Mr. Reid, who was Miss Dixon's boss starting in the mid-2000s, assaulted her twice. When she successfully rebuffed him on other occasions, the lawsuit says he retaliated against her, blocking her abilities to sign or cultivate artists like a young John Legend. She left the company in 2002, and though she made forays into the industry again, she never fully recovered from her promising trajectory as a music taste maker. Stepping back from the music career was devastating, Miss Dixon said, who facilitated the recording of platinum soundtracks and several hit singles. Drew Dixon has done a lot in the music industry. Shout out to her. She said in an interview, I've had the opportunity to now seek some degree of accountability. And that's really what I'm trying to do. Mr. Reid, when this dropped, did not respond. I don't know if he's ever even really made a formal statement. But Yeah, I mean, this has been one of those things where since 2017, um, things have been brewing, and this was around the time where the Me Too movement was really hitting off. And shout out to Drew Dixon for kind of standing strong in a lot of this, because a lot of people came for her, and they still do, till this day. But again, I'm there 1,000. Yeah, I feel like the music industry is their own FAFO era. I completely agree. If you're coming for the music industry or somebody like Oprah, be prepared. Be prepared. That's what I heard, Mama Malama AZ. Yes, that Russell metaphorically strong arm Oprah. So, like, when Drew Dixon, there was an HBO documentary. I think I watched it like twice. I think maybe this is why I remember it, pieces of it, right? Drew Dixon was calling out a lot of these music industries, one of those being Russell Simmons, right? And then there was other people that spoke out against Russell Simmons. And Oprah at that time, I mean, you got to understand, in 2017, I think, was it Finding Neverland or something like that? She also spoke out against Michael Jackson, or at least stood with the Michael Jackson accusers, right? um Wade Robson and Safe Chuck, right? And some people are divided by that, because you either believe it or you don't. It's a very polarizing topic when it comes to that. I have a lot of questions about the Neverland documentary. But Oprah made an appearance around that time, right? And she, like, initially she was all for Michael. Of course, this was before, he died. And then he dies. And so now she's like standing with these two accusers. And I mean, the lawsuits have been years and years, and they were suing the estate. So there's that, right? But Oprah, I think for me, when she did that, it kind of spoke to, well, she also says she's a survivor of SA. She said a lot of stuff about her past that a lot of people have refuted. And so when she did that with Neverland, and then she came over here to the HBO situation with Drew Dixon, and then kind of like took a step back, and she's like, I'm not supporting them. I'm not this, or I'm not that, or I'm just not, I don't know about their allegations anymore. Like, she changed her mind, which I guess she's entitled to do. But um then that kind of goes into, like, well, what do you stand for in that situation? Did maybe Oprah find something out that she found it to be not credible? Maybe she found something out, or did she just do this for, like, ratings, because of who she is and everything? What did she do it all for? That was the question. Okay. But anyways, so this is a long time coming, I think, with L.A. Reid and Drew Dixon. But now at Drew Dixon versus L.A. Reid, defense counsel says not getting paid. L.A. mansion can't be sold. Inner City Press live tweeted thread below. So Matthew from Inner City Press was there. And this is the defense counsel. And it reads, at one point, Mr. Reid changed his phone number, and I couldn't reach him. When we became aware of destruction of text messages, our firm paid for forensic review. Judge Caproni called us generous. The judge says, Judge Vargas, has Mr. Reid spoken to you about your motion to withdraw? Defense counsel, he expressed displeasure. Dixon's lawyer, we deposed Mr. Johnson. The house can be sold. Mariah Carey met at his house in October 2024. So Mariah Carey, Mimi still has some level of dealings with L.A. Reid. Mimi does. So she's being mentioned as well in this hearing. Dixon's lawyer says Mr. Reid could pay from the songs Good with Usher. Look at this. Other names are being dropped. This is from Dixon's lawyer. Okay. Judge Vargas, there may be a pattern of delayed tactics by Mr. Reid, but I don't want to hurt this small boutique defense firm. I'm considering denying the motions to withdraw so discovery can end, but not for the trial. That's what the judge said. The judge, I will allow them to withdraw before trial. If Mr. Reid or a new counsel does not appear for the final pretrial conference, Dixon may move for default. Inner City Press will stay on this case. Shout out to Inner City Press. So, yes, my friends, big L.A. Reid, pay what you need to pay, or they're going to come after you. That's what they said. Or come up or do something about this. Where is L.A. Reid? Where's L.A. Reid? That's the question. So that is what's happening this morning. It kind of makes you wonder. You said Mimi's in the chat? Mimi's, who's Mimi? What? Mimi's in the chat? Mariah Carey's in the chat? No, she's not. Let's see. Mimi has entered the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Russell, yeah, she did. Like, it does kind of make you wonder. Yeah, well, Russell Simmons is in Bali right now. And they are name dropping in these hearings. Yes, they are. I thought you guys said Mimi was in the chat. I'm like, Mariah Carey's in the chat. What? No, she's not. I'm so sorry, but I believe that there's no reason why a grown man should be allowed to sleep in the same bed as a child that isn't even his own. There was nothing normal about that. You talk about the MJ situation. I mean, there has been some back and forth about it. I don't feel like I know enough, to be honest with you, other than just the, surface level allegations that have been made. I don't know enough to even kind of go there, but people have gone back and forth on those allegations. So I do wonder about it. You said L.A. Reid was rumored to be cheating on his wife, Pebbles, with one of the TLC members when those girls were minors. Allegedly. Really? Now, is this a blind review or is this a real, like, where did you hear this from? I'm kind of curious. Maybe he's not paying the bills because he's in Bali with Russell. Potentially. Maybe they're vacationing in the same little hut. Allegedly, right? I'll have to check it out. You got to tell me, VH1 back in the day? I'm telling you, VH1 back in the day, back when that I used to watch the reruns of that. I remember I used to like play VH1. Back when we had a television, we could afford cable. I don't even have a television in my room anymore, guys. I really don't. I don't. I don't like. I just don't get any cable anymore. Right? We don't do that anymore. We're strictly on the Wi-Fi now. We made that move a couple years back. But it was behind the music. Oh, you guys are gonna have to you're gonna have to tell me about that. And tell me why that never made it to a police report. Yes, they did. We just don't. We used to, we don't. At all. Yes, optics are everything, especially when looking back in history. Absolutely. So that is the issue with L.A. Reid versus Drew Dixon. Now, I'm definitely going to follow up on this. I do have the case number and I have the old filing. We could definitely do a live about that. But again, Oprah got dragged into this situation, so we're going to get into that. Okay, let's move on. We got to move on. And we got to talk about who's on my list now. Let's talk about the juror, Mr. Bean. Let's talk about this. Lord have mercy, because there's a lot of controversy happening right now. What is going on? Hold up. I see everybody's talking about it. Juror Diddy. Here we go. So I guess he gave another interview to NewsNation, and people have been messaging me about it. And so this juror is causing a little bit of a stir up. Here it is.
What do you think about the month of October? Because that month used to be a very lucky month for one Sean Diddy Combs.
Okay, can we just, let's see. I don't think this is her full interview. Is this it? I'm going to have to pull it. Oh, here it is. It's this one right here.
You have just loved to be a fly on the wall as those jurors slogged through 7 weeks of this trial together. Well, tonight you're in luck, because juror number 330 got the summons and showed up for jury duty months ago, only to be picked among 17 other fellow citizens to sit in judgment of Diddy, to sit on the jury that would hear his case. His name is George, first name only tonight, and he sat in that courtroom every single day of Diddy's trial, which means he sat through 7 weeks of testimony, 34 witnesses, and clip after clip of freak-off videos. In the end, 12 of his colleagues on that panel of 18 were chosen and sent off to deliberate Diddy's fate, but George has come to talk to us tonight. George, welcome to the show. Boy, oh boy, have I ever wanted to talk to you. I'm really thankful that you're doing this. And first, can I just say thank you for your service?
Well, thank you. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, It's a lot. Everybody thinks jury duty. How do I get out of it? But you're an example of a shining fellow American who didn't do that, and you did your civic duty. And I know you're smiling, but I'm really pious about this stuff. I think it's really important. So with that all said, did you agree with the verdict?
I did. I did agree with the verdict. Through the whole thing, I took a lot of notes. I think about 350 pages worth of notes, about 3 steno pads worth of notes. I wasn't actually the one that took the most notes. There was others that actually took more notes.
Wow.
Than
Okay.
I took 4 steno pads. But I think if I was able to, given the chance to deliberate and review all my notes, review all the evidence, everything I needed to see, and also, most importantly, review the judge's charges, I would have eventually reached the same conclusion that the 12 jurors found.
And of course, there you were. The 12 went off into the room, and you didn't get to be the fly on the wall in the room. But did you all have the same sense? I know you weren't allowed to talk about the facts of the case, but you were with these people for what, 7 weeks straight?
7
Did you?
weeks.
He wouldn't know if they all had the same sense if they're not allowed to talk about it. How do you determine whether you had the same sense unless you've had a conversation? But go ahead.
All get the sense that everybody felt the same way all the way along, or was it poker face? You couldn't tell.
It was. I think, in a sense, we were just all hoping. We were just kind of waiting for it to end. Every day. I think it was just because there was so much evidence and so much testimony, and it was like, as you said, it was 7 weeks of witness after witness after witness after witness. So I think we were hoping for it to come all together, and we were really waiting for the judge to give us his instructions to know, what the definitions are, what we're actually looking to do. So I think we had an open mind this entire time, and it really was like a show, and we were just the audience and just waiting to hear everything, whatever both sides present to us, and then make the ruling.
With that,
I mean, he really can't answer that because it's kind of like they're not supposed to talk about the case with each other. So how are you, like, what kind of what was it? Belen who said it? I wish reporters. Who said it? Hold up. Was it Belen? You said it, that it's like, I wish reporters would ask, like, it would know what kind of questions to ask. Thank you. No, it was you. Why are reporters asking questions they know he can't answer? It's weird. It's like everyone is on it or something. That's what I'm saying. It's like, how are you supposed to answer for everybody? Because she's like, did you get a sense? And you're like, how is he supposed to get a sense of anything if he's not? You're not, like, you have to be careful. Diddy got basically reprimanded publicly for even looking at the jurors or signaling or what the prosecution said that they saw, right? For having any kind of reaction, for shaking his head. If the jurors are doing it within each other, I would have a problem with it. You're not supposed to. You're not even like, I'm not going to be like hearing somebody testify and then looking next to my fellow juror member. Did you see that? Did y'all see that? Did you guys see that? We're not supposed to do that. That's not the reaction you can have in the jury box. Did she really say baby? Oh, she said baby. No, she said astroglide. That's what you're not supposed to do that. So how is he supposed to answer this kind of question? That's my question.
Yeah, with that, I want to go sort of granular down to each of these charges, because when you listen to the prosecution's closing argument, she said to you, you can agree to have a lot of sex, and then if you don't agree just one time, that's sex trafficking. And I felt like there was evidence where both Jane and Cassie said, I don't want to do this. And there was pressure. There was either force, fraud, or coercion. Did you not agree? Did you think that the women were not telling the truth?
No. From the beginning, you could tell that. I mean, especially like Cassie, when she came in, she was, very visibly pregnant. I mean, she was extremely pregnant. So and even when Jane came, I think both of them were very credible. But as you listen to their testimony, and both of them, their testimony went for days. I think as you listen to them, some parts of their story at times, seemed like certain parts didn't really
Mesh
a little
well.
bit holes, especially when under cross-examination, it raised a little bit levels of doubt, especially in my mind.
George.
Hold up. So Rosa says always the 350 pages of notes. Tell me, why does he shouldn't have those notes? You can't take anything with you. Who said that he took the notes? Did he say he has notes? You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to have any notes with you. Like any note that you write during the trial, everything stays behind but your belongings, right? So keep that in mind. I don't know, Rosa, where did you hear this? Because that wouldn't be okay to do, and I've never heard him say anything. Miss Jam says, Rabbit, at the end of the trial, didn't judge free jurors that they could speak? Check the transcripts on the last day of the verdict. Yes, Miss Jams, that is correct. Let me see. Are people saying something different? I mean, I could pull it. Let me see. Let me find my file. Do-do-do-do. Let's see. What was the last day of trial? Damn, it feels like a long time ago. Y'all remember the date? What was the last date? Was it Wednesday the 2nd? July 2nd? We could do that. Nope, July. Okay. Hold up. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Why are people saying something different? Because I heard that if I remember correctly, the judge told them that they could, it wouldn't be something that he would want them to do, but they could. It was July 2nd. No, July 2nd was the last day, which would have been a Wednesday. Yeah, because I have it listed here. Okay, give me 1 second. All right. We'll get to that here in a minute. Give me 1 second. Let me play this so we can finish playing this guy. But let me know. Put your questions in there. Was there something else that you guys are different?
So I get that. I definitely get that. It raises certain levels of doubt because I love free coughs, right? There's that text message. I love to free cough with you. But do you believe, George, and do you think your fellow jurors believed that Cassie, and let's just put Jane aside, that Cassie at least one time did not want to be a part of that? Say, for instance, after the escort testified that he could hear what sounded like Diddy beating her in the next room, and then they came back in and he said, finish strong. Did you believe that maybe that was an instance where Cassie truly did not want to finish, but she was coerced into finishing that free cough?
When looking at everything, and then because the defense, when they were showing, the counter arguments, they would always show, the after effects of some of especially the text messages. And in those instances, there was also a lot of saying thank you sometimes, or, I had a great time. So those kind of instances, they really did, I think, raise a little bit of doubt. And then just to know that these freak-offs were, done with free will.
Well, that's what I mean. So I think many of them seemed to be, according to the evidence, she was into it. She was organizing and saying thank you and all the rest. But that one free cough, that's why I get down to the granular. The one free cough where the escort said, I could hear her what sounded like her being beaten. She came out and Diddy said, finish strong. And is it possible, again, in a reasonable, not beyond all measure of doubt, just a reasonable doubt, is it possible?
I mean, Ashley, I feel like you're trying to change this man's mind. It's like you're trying to change. I feel like you're here. It's, if this man was like, just, there's a point here where he's answering the question, just that's where he stood. He's not considering that time. Maybe he is, or maybe he isn't, but it almost feels like her questioning is trying to change this man's mind. I don't know if I necessarily feel like, am I the only one that's picking that up? Like, he just told you what it was, but she's trying to make him say, well, is it possible? And I'm like,
possible that Cassie did finish that free cough under coercion because she had just been smacked around in the room next door?
No, it very well could be, but I think when you look at everything together, there was some doubt that the jury had convict to say that those two counts were not guilty.
So there could have been a situation, like we've said here on this channel, there might have been times where she consented, and then there were times where she did not. What Ashley Banfield is getting at is it then in those times where she didn't consent, is it possible that the jury considered this human trafficking? But he can't even answer that, or excuse me, trafficking. He can't answer that question because he wasn't even in deliberations.
And maybe, I don't know if you agree with this, George, maybe there was too much information. Maybe the prosecution just handed you way too much to be able to kind of sort through it all, again, on that granular level. Is that fair?
I think it is fair. I mean, there was a lot of information, I have to say. I mean, every day when I would leave the court, it was just like, you really didn't know like where to even like begin. A lot of times I would just walk home from the court all the way up to Grand Central, just to kind of clear my mind of all the things, because it's just, you know, it's just a lot of information. There's a lot of exhibits that they kept presenting. So and every day was just, I always just came with an open mind, and I really didn't have my mind made up in either way, really until the end, until we were really waiting until the judge gave his 62-page instructions on what we were going to do. And that's, I think, I was waiting for, was just why are, you know
that's
what
a
are we
long
here
walk,
for?
By the way.
It is.
That's like
but
almost
every
an
day
hour.
I try
If
to
I
do
do my math
12,000
right,
steps.
that's a lot. That's a long walk. I have one last question. I'm going to make it brief because I'm running out of time, but I am so curious, because as I watched all of this testimony and the witnesses every single day, I felt like I saw evidence of bribery, kidnapping, extortion, assault, corroborated by several witnesses, testimony and messages. And those were all the predicate acts in order to find RICO, the racketeering. And yet the jury found no racketeering. Why do you think that is?
Oh,
I think, you know, racketeering, and I mean, from what I understood, it's a very, I mean, all the charges are very high bar charges. But when you look at the different counts, I think the defense raised some doubt in each one of them, especially, you know, kidnapping, arson, forced labor, all of those different charges, because you had to find them in two. I think there was always a little bit of doubt. The prosecution did an excellent job. I have the highest regards for all the prosecutors. I was very impressed with them. But the defense did poke some holes in the witnesses' arguments on some of those charges.
They did their job.
They did their job. They did what they were paid for.
They poked a lot of holes, George.
Yes.
They got you to reasonable doubt. They got your colleagues to reasonable doubt. One last quick question. I knew that I said that was my last question, but I do have this one. Can I ask you this? What do you think of Sean Combs as a man?
oh my God. Oh, man. Oh, man. What do you guys think? Yeah, Mama says he's really speaking like he was in deliberations. It's really weird. He's making it sound like there was a consensus among them. Yeah, because you're not even supposed to have like eye contact with your fellow jurors about this, or like, you know what I mean? Like, she's almost asking the question as if they're sitting in this bench and they're looking at each other and they're like, do we see each other? They're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to talk about it in or out of the room. So let's see how he answers this question, okay?
Well, any man who, you know, does domestic violence isn't much of a man, in my opinion. You know, it's anyone that beats a woman, hurts a woman, is not a good person. And that was from the beginning. They had even the defense admitted that Sean Diddy Combs is he's a very flawed individual. So, you know, I'm glad that, and the evidence was overwhelming that, you know, he's found guilty on these two charges. So I'm glad that, you know, he is going to, face justice.
Serve some time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for that.
George,
and I hope he gets the max, whatever he can get.
Were you about to say you hope he gets the max?
I said, I hope, what, it's the judge's discretion for whatever, however the sentence, but I hope, and I know the judge has been fair this whole time. So I hope, it's the maximum, whatever is possible.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold up. Let me go back a little bit. Hold up.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for that.
George,
and I hope he gets the max, whatever he can get.
Did you were you about to say you hope he gets the max?
I said, I hope, what, it's the judge's discretion for whatever, however the sentence, but I hope, and I know the judge has been fair this whole time. So I hope, it's the maximum, whatever is possible.
That's interesting. I want to thank you again for your civic duty and all those days and weeks and the mental anguish of going through it. It's a tough job, but I'll bet if you're like most people I ask, I bet it was very, very rewarding.
Oh, stop it. The man got paid for these interviews. How much CNN paid this guy? CNN, what you pay this guy? NewsNation, what you guys pay him? Yes, he was there. And let me tell you something. I mean, whatever comes out of these jurors, they can do whatever the hell they want. But he got paid. He got paid. You think he's trying to appease Ashley? And yet he's not even a main juror. He's an alternate.
And I think you get a break from jury duty for a long time, George. Thank you for doing this tonight.
Thank you again. Thank you for having me on.
So appreciated. And again, I'm just going to stand on my soapbox, folks. If you get a summons for jury duty.
Okay. Why were you guys asking me to review the transcripts on the jury duty part? I have them here. So let me stop sharing this. Did somebody say different or what? Let me see. This is the verdict one. What is it about? What happened? Who was it that asked me to review it? Was it Miss James? I can't remember who it was. Somebody asked me to review it. Was there something in there? Did something happen? This is at the very end when the judge speaks to the jury, okay? And the judge says, all right, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so there's something. All right, so let's look into this because I think there was some confusion about whether he can or can't give interviews, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, in a moment, I'm going to excuse you. Before I do, I want to say a few words about the trial. This is a case that has received considerable press. I can already tell you that members of the press will ask to speak with you. Not only are you free to refuse to speak with anyone or disclose what went on in the jury room, but there is a good reason to decline to discuss anything with the press. Our jury system has long been based on the notions that what happens in the jury room stays in the jury room. As the Supreme Court has explained, freedom of debate might be stifled and independence of thought checked if jurors were made to feel that their arguments and ballots were to be freely publicized to the world. In that regard, I think there's an important reason to respect the privacy of deliberation. With that said, the choice whether to speak with others about this case and your personal views is up to you. Okay? That is your choice. All of the instructions that I gave you previously about not talking to each other about the case, not only talking to anyone else about the case, not looking up anything about the case, reading anything about the case, I probably gave you that instruction about 50 to 100 times. All of that is gone. Poof. All of that is gone. Poof. You are not subject to those instructions further. What I will ask is that if you do speak to the press or anyone about the case and your involvement in it, that you respect the privacy of your fellow jurors. Deliberations and views. You can speak about your own views about the case, but do not speak about your colleagues' views, where or how the deliberations played out. There you go. That's all he asks, is that you could talk about whatever you want. He's only asking, and it's not saying that you will be held to, the judge can't do anything about, like, if I go to jury duty, which I've had, right? Like, and I get an interview after jury duty. And then like Ashley Banfield says to me, hey, how do you feel about, how was the juror sense? Let's just say that I'm the one in the pool, right? Not an alternate, like one of the main jurors. I'm just going to pretend I'm a main juror. The judge is telling me here, you know, I would ask you that you don't, but nothing's going to happen to me if I do, right? He says, but do not speak about your colleagues' views or how the deliberations played out. I will also ask that members of the media respect principle by refraining to question jurors about the deliberations, which they never do. I mean, you just saw Banfield questioning this alternate juror who was not in the main 12 in there. Jurors, if you have any questions or feel uncomfortable based on any outreach that you receive, please feel free to bring that to my attention. That's it. But he can't do anything. He can't say, all right, bring in juror number Mr. Bean, bring in juror number 6. He can't really do anything about it. Because I mean, what is he gonna do? It's not during the trial, it's out. He wasn't in the actual deliberation room. Now say that it's juror number 12 or number 10. Say it's me and I go to Banfield and I'm giving an interview, right? I could say, there were some jurors. I could be very general. Maybe I might not say names, right? I could say, there was this one juror who, she was so dead set that he was guilty on the first, but we had to review evidence and we took hours and we were really tired. It's not tasteful to do that, but the judge can't do anything to enforce any of that at this point, if that makes sense. There's nothing else that the judge can do, if that makes sense. Yeah. You said he obviously the only juror or jurors adjacent. That can be and going to milk it for all it's worth. I don't see the value of Mr. Bean's opinion. I think that, I mean, if there's one thing that Mr. Bean, juror number 6, alternate juror, did was it kind of, I don't even know if he told us something that we didn't already know. I mean, he saw the concealed evidence. He saw the things that were redacted, but what else did he do other than that? There really isn't anything else. And I see, shout out to Andy from Popcorn Planet. I see him reacting to he just did a video. Let me see what he has to say about this. Because I'm kind of curious to know what he has to say. But let me also say this, okay? I think the one thing that stood out to me about this juror is what Inner City Press said, that there might have been some things that he wasn't really honest about. And Rosa was the one who said, I don't know if it's changed. It might be a different juror. I'm not really sure, but I believe this is the UN guy, juror number 6, who said that he had nothing to do with UN has nothing to do with law enforcement, nothing, and that he kind of lied. And I mean, if Matthew is standing on 10 with that situation, that's where he's standing. Is there no possibility of overturning this case? Based on what though? On like Miss Jams explained, like, what do you mean? Based on what do you feel like? On the fact that he's speaking to the public, he's allowed to. The judge is not going to remand him. Like, they're not going to do anything. Now, if I was the defense, and I'm sure the defense has probably gotten a notice about this juror, right? And they probably have seen interviews already. If I was the defense and I found out that this guy was being dishonest, well, first of all, I have to weigh in. Does this impact the outcome? I don't think it does, right? If this guy was one of the jurors, one of the 12, it sounds like he would have gone with whatever selection they would have made, right? The not guilty for the RICO. Okay? Sounds like that's what he would have chosen. However, does his level of dishonesty impact anything? Anything at all? I don't know. Does it impact the outcome? Could they overturn things? The other thing to consider too, is it any different than the other juror? The other juror, this is alternate 6, juror number 6, the one that lied about which jurisdiction he was living in or which addresses. That guy did not, he got let go for dishonesty. Could this guy have been let go as well for the same reason? Was this guy dishonest? I have to understand. Thank you. You're tearing up some Walmart chicken? Shout out to you. I hate Walmart. I had to go there the other day. I hate Walmart. really, really do. But let me know what you think. Seems like he wanted to get his 15 and it's the UN guy. Yeah. You said he was an alternate. So him giving interviews doesn't in any impact the verdict or the trial. Absolutely. He's the only one speaking. Absolutely. I'm not a fan of Walmart. Let me know what you guys think. Okay. Seems like he wanted to get his 15 and it's the UN guy. I think it might be, but I don't know. I was under the impression that this was the UN guy because that's what Inner City Press called him. Okay, let me hit play on this.
New reports are coming out regarding George, the alternate juror from the Sean Diddy Combs trial, and how he may not be telling us the full truth. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and man, my red flags were going off like crazy when I saw that CNN interview where George, the alternate juror from the Sean Diddy Combs trial, was speaking for the jury, among other things. Well, huge shout out to Matthew Lewis over at Inner City Press. Please go support him, follow him. He's still on it, and he's bringing up new information about this juror that, I got to be honest, is causing me a lot of concern. Before we get to the story, I could use your help. I want you to go check out my second channel, Popcorn Palace. Yes, this was my royal channel. I know a lot of you sort of wrote it off because you didn't want to see Meghan and Harry stories all day. I didn't want to keep reporting them, to be honest, and I gave up for about a couple months. But now I've realized I can call out a lot of powerful palaces, if you will.
Oh my God. And shout out to Andy for this is his like other channel. So he's got like Popcorn Planet and Popcorn Palace. Make sure you guys check out Andy's video on this. I mean, I did see him call out Epstein, and I thought it was really cool that he did, because not a lot of people, like, other than the bigger media people, they did, but not a lot of people did.
This channel is going to become a new channel where I really speak truth to power. And yes, I'll still talk about the royals from time to time. A lot of my audience wants me to. But I'm getting into a new story that I really hope you will go see, because YouTube is not sending you these videos. Nobody wants you to see these videos. And this is an incredibly important case. If you are infuriated with the Diddy case, you should be equally infuriated with this case. And I hope you'll head on over there as I begin this journey and building more content over there that's going to speak truth to power. So please, I'll put a link down below. I'll put the iCard up there. It'll be good. I think it's here. Check it out, or at the end of the video. How about that? At the end of the video, go check that one out. Please subscribe, watch those videos. Let's see if we can get those numbers up, because man, the powerful people don't like some of this reporting. And I'm very suspicious about this juror. I always was. I will remain so. It's alternate juror from the U.S. Sean Combs trial who works for the United Nations.
Yep.
Went on CNN and called the freak-off videos that the press was not allowed to see tame. When the UN official to get on the jury said over 2 days in May that the UN Office of Counterterrorism, where he works, never engages with law enforcement. Inner City Press reported publicly that that's false. The UN official, it seemed clear, wanted to badly get on this jury. And immediately after the 3 not guilty verdicts, 2 guilty verdicts, he appeared on CNN, identified as George, showing his face. He lied on CNN too. He said that the jurors were never told until the end who the alternates were. Matthew's ready to prove that wrong as well. False. He knew from the beginning that he was an alternate, the last 6 alternates who would deliberate only if 6 of the 12 actual jurors were knocked out. But he makes himself more newsworthy by claiming that until the end, he thought he could deliberate. He also makes representations about how other jurors responded to victim witness Don Ricard poorly, even though judge said the jurors and alternates should not discuss the case or witnesses until after the closings and legal charge. So he outed not only himself, it would appear he wants to sell the 350 pages of notes he bragged about, but also the other jurors. So let's look into this guy and what else was said here, because
okay, and I think, let me see. Let me go to Inner City Press, because I think it was, I don't know how he would be able to sell the pages, 350 pages. That would be impossible, because you're not supposed to take your notes unless they did. And my understanding, let me see if we could pull something. Southern District of New York jury duty notes. I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to. So I highly doubt that he would be able to sell that. So like note taking, it says the jurors are allowed to take notes, but it's not required. So the purposes of note taking is to help recall evidence. Okay. Jurors will be provided the material for note taking. Notes will be collected and destroyed at the end of the trial. You cannot take your notes, guys. They can't. They can't. Now, if he's saying, well, I'm going to give you my version of the story, which is all right here, then there it is, right? Notes will be collected and destroyed at the end of the trial. You can't take your notes. It's literally right there. Yeah, the notes, even though you wrote them, that's property of the court. You're absolutely right. Jurors can only refer to their notes during trial and deliberations. Notes are confidential and not available for review by anyone else, including parties of the case. The judge can't see your notes, I don't think. The attorneys can't view their notes, so no, he wouldn't be able to sell his notes. So I think that this, in my opinion, it's a bit of a stretch for Inner City Press to say that. But maybe that was his impression. Let me go back a little bit when Andy's reading it. Hold up.
He also makes representations about how other jurors responded to victim witness Don Ricard poorly, even though judge said the jurors and alternates should not discuss the case or witnesses until after the closings and legal charge.
Yes.
So he outed not only himself, it would appear he wants to sell the 350 pages of notes he bragged about, but also the other jurors. So let's look.
So that's not possible. They don't play about the notes. I mean, at least where I serve jury duty, you can't take those. I can't take them for lunch. They're only for deliberations, and I take the notepad to go to the jury box, right? And then that's it. And then when you're done with service, you literally leave it there. You can't tear up a page. You can't put a page in your pocket. Can't do that. They do be counting those shits. So you don't do that. You don't. So I don't know.
Into this guy and what else was said here, because I think it's incredibly important. So here we go. For those critical reporting, alternate juror who told CNN he didn't know until the end that he was an alternate, I noted during the VR Dior in his claim that UN counterterrorism does not work with UN law enforcement was dubious. So following up, now Matthew's gone after the UN and he's had some rumbles with them before. They've kicked him out for asking questions they didn't like, it seems. And so they have a history, but he's tried to reach out to them for months about this issue and they've been avoiding it. So that's issue one. Why is he working for the UN, which we know he worked for, you admitted that, but then saying, well, it doesn't work with law enforcement when they often do. And why won't the UN respond and make this clear on the record whether he does or not? And is this guy really someone who worked for the UN? All important questions you'd think, but let's get through this.
You were an alternate. You did not deliberate, but did you agree with the final verdict?
I understood the final verdict. And I think because I took a copious amount of notes overall, the 350 pages worth of notes.
Publishers, you hear that? I have 350 pages of notes.
At the end, we weren't told who was an alternate, who was the main juror until literally the last second when they were reading when the judge was reading his entire statement at the end. It was like the first 12 are the jurors, the last 5 are the alternates.
Inner City Press is saying that that's a lie. And I kind of believe Inner City Press on that. I think that that's a lie as well. Yeah. I concur. I agree. It's a lie. It's a lie.
So we didn't know. We didn't, even in the jury room, no one treated everyone. We all were equal because we didn't know who was who.
Would you have acquitted?
Okay. Well, Matthew's calling BS on that. It was made absolutely clear to the jurors and the alternates which ones they were, juror or alternate. They filed into the courtroom in the same order each day. Jurors 1 through 12, then alternates 1 through 6. No, it's different in some stations, but for what it's worth, he makes very clear, no. They were led into the jury as the 12 jurors and the 6 alternates. He told the jurors and alternates at every break, don't speak with each other about the case. UN alternate George, who did not deliberate, told CNN unanimously, we all said, he also said he was a UN counterterrorism and that they don't work for you law enforcement. But here's the other clip in question.
That I think, unanimously, we kind of all said like, wow, like it was.
So unanimously, we all said, wow. Here now, cut the instructions straight from the transcript of the case.
What? Hold up. I missed this part. This is the CNN footage, right? I might have to go to it again. Hold up.
Who did not deliberate, told CNN unanimously, we all said, he also said he was a UN counterterrorism and that they don't work for you law enforcement. But here's the other clip in question.
That I think unanimously we kind of all said like, wow, like it was.
So
How did you unanimously say wow when you're not like you're not supposed to speak to each other? Unanimously, they were like, wow. I missed that part too. I'm gonna try to find the actual clip that Inner City Press clipped. Hold up, my friends. This shit is interesting. Oh, here it is. I found it. Okay, hold up. I missed this 16 hours ago. This was out of the CNN footage. In U.S. versus Sean Combs, a judge told a juror and the alternates at every break, don't speak with each other about the case. The UN alternate juror, George, who did not deliberate, told CNN unanimously, we all said, and he also said, unauct does not work for the UN, does not work for the US law enforcement. Hold up.
That I think unanimously we kind of all said like, wow, like.
How could you unanimously say that during deliberations when you're not supposed to talk about it? How do you unanimously say wow when you're not supposed to talk about the case? See, if I was the defense, this would be the thing that I would be like, oh no, Mr. Bean, you're out. I missed this yesterday. Nobody told me about this. That part. See, now this, my friends, is something. Even though he wasn't like in deliberations. Hold up, Ram. Ram, thank you for the 199. Unanimously, we all think he's a goofy. Not unanimously, you think he's a goofy. Oh my God. Not a goofy. His facial expressions are giving me cringy. Yeah. Maybe it's his voice. I don't know, man. Unanimously, we. How did you unanimously do that when you're not supposed to be talking about the case?
Like it was.
Same instructions. Don't speak with each other about the case. Don't speak with anybody else. And don't look up anything about the case. With that, we'll see you tomorrow to start at 1. It's always the same instructions. So how did you unanimously look at each other and say, wow? Because that's, hell, that's not even like a nonverbal. It's definitely a verbal. It's a wow. Am I? Okay, I'm sorry. I don't mean to pause them at the worst times. Oh.
That I think unanimously we kind of all said like, wow, like.
Unanimously, we all said, wow. I saw that the original and wonder when they unanimously agreed when they were not to speak to each other about it. The alternates were separated from the jurors at the beginning of deliberations. How? Oh man, champagne kisses. I don't know. This is no bueno. The Inner City Press got him. Andy's reporting it, and I'm here for it. Oh my God. Can you trust any of the UN people? Unanimously? No. Oh my God.
Like, it was.
Oh my God.
That I think unanimously we kind of all said like, wow, like it was.
That's crazy. And that's on the interview for CNN. Daphne, thank you so much for the super sticker, my love. Thank you for the $5. Aw. Thank you for showing some support, Daphne, for the $5. Thank you. Unanimously negligent. Yes. How do you, what is a unanimous vote when you're not supposed to deliberate? Like, did you guys look at each other? Baby Runny wrote on me, y'all. I can't. Let me see if I can show you. She wrote on me right here. She grabbed a pen and she wrote on me. What do you guys think? Let me know. Do you unanimously agree? I mean, Ram already said unanimously we think he's a goofy. Okay, let me keep going with this, okay?
Unanimously, we all said, well, Here now, cut the instructions straight from the transcript of the case. Don't speak with each other about either the case. Don't speak with anybody else, and don't look up anything. See you tomorrow. This was said all the time. Do not speak to each other about the case. Do not speak with each other about the case. Not until deliberation, which...
Well, a unanimous wow would be speaking to each other, if you know what I mean. Unless, hold up. I mean, I could be wrong. Now, see through you, it said, hold up. Let me see.
That I think
He says, I think.
unanimously we kind of all said like, wow, like it was.
So he says, I think unanimously we all said, wow. So did that happen? Is he speaking for the other people? I think unanimously we all said, wow. I think unanimously. So he might have not spoken to everybody. He was just thinking in his mind that everybody was thinking that unanimously everybody said, wow. I literally feel like I'm going in circles in my mind just thinking of that, because it just still doesn't make sense to me, but okay. Or maybe did they all say wow to each other? Unanimously, you know? Unanimously, we all said, como wow. Oh my God, y'all are funny. Thank you, thank you, thank you. No juror follows those rules. I know I didn't, allegedly. Oh no, I follow the rules. Oh my God, see through you. Come on, I followed them. Can the judge overturn the verdict if they spoke to each other? I mean, I have no idea, but that's a great question. Can a judge, let's see what Google says, overturn a jury, a federal jury verdict if jury speaks with each other, if he thinks that they spoke to each other? I don't know. The word I think kind of threw me off a little bit. I'm not going to lie to you. It almost seems like that would be grounds to say, well, he's thinking they didn't really actually speak to each other. Okay. Yes, a federal judge can overturn a jury verdict in certain circumstances. It's rare and subject to legal standards. Okay. So juror misconduct, jurors are strictly prohibited to deliberate only in the jury room to avoid discussing the case with outsiders. Okay. Let's see. The judge's authority, he could declare a mistrial, granting a new trial, judgment as a matter of law. In some situations, particularly if the judge determines that even the jury verdict, no reasonable jury could have reached the conclusion based on the evidence. Okay. In essence, while simply talking with each other might not automatically overturn a verdict, if that communication constitutes juror misconduct and is shown to have prejudiced the trial, it can be a significant factor leading up to a judge's intervention, including potentially overturning the verdict or granting a new trial. I mean, I don't think he's speaking for everybody. I don't know, guys. I don't know, man. Daphne, thank you again for the $5. I appreciate the support. Thank you, love. I guess it depends. Hold up. Is Franny Law in the chat? Shout out to Franny Law. Shout out to all my beautiful, wonderful lawyers. I don't think Franny Law's in the chat. The thing is like, I don't know, man. I guess it just depends on what the judge says. I keep getting mixed results with Google. If jurors know at the beginning of the trial that they are alternates and are aware they won't deliberate, it's frustrating. Mind you, I always knew that I was going to deliberate. We were told, and then the alternates were in there, but they weren't in the 12 seats at all, if you know what I mean. Jeremy, I will get to that topic. You got to wait. Okay. Thank you. See, the jury was awaiting for instructions on how the Diddy crimes are charged. The prosecution should have done their jobs to explain to the juror. Weren't the alternates dismissed? Yes, they were. Once they had their 12, they were dismissed to go home right before deliberations began. When was the we and the wow? That's a great question. When did the we and the wow start? But yes, even if it wasn't unanimous, if anyone talks about it, it's the issue. My experience was that I was told each time this was in California, though, says Smiley. Wow. Do we unanimously agree that this is suspect? Well, what do you guys think? Hold up. Let me go back to Andy's video. Maybe we can do a poll. Do we unanimously agree that this is suspect?
This guy wasn't a part of. He was an alternate. He didn't make it to deliberation. So how can he say we all unanimously thought?
I think unanimously we kind of all said like, wow.
I mean, when he said this, then I was confused. I was absolutely confused. Now,
I
again,
mean, it doesn't say. It doesn't say that. He says, "I think." He doesn't say that they spoke, does he? Am I like I don't know. Are we reading too much into this? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you guys go vote. Yeah, I was on the jury and we knew. I think the jurors should have been sequestered. Do women speak to each other with their eyes? Nonverbals. You can speak as a nonverbal. There's a lot of nonverbal communication. He talks like a senator? No, he doesn't. Does he really? Oh, man. Hold up. Let me go back. Because,
about the case, not until deliberation, which this guy wasn't a part of. He was an alternate. He didn't make it to deliberation. So how can he say we all unanimously thought?
I think unanimously we kind of all said like, wow.
I think unanimously we all kind of said, wow. That's what he said. I think he's thinking that they all said it. I don't know if he said that they said it.
I mean, when he said this, then I was confused. I was absolutely confused. Now, again, Matthew's gone after the UN spokesperson trying to get information. You can go follow Inner City Press and follow his tweets and get there. He's posted a lot of content about this, trying to get to the bottom of it. And it's kind of shocking that the UN spokesmen are ignoring it because they work for us. They're supposed to answer. That's the problem with a lot of this and why I created the second channel. People are afraid to call other people out when they actually work for us. President, UN, all these people we are the boss. We don't work for them. They work for us.
That's right.
And so we are allowed to criticize, ask questions, do what we want. There's no reason why we can't still ask about this case, which our president is labeling a waste of time. How dare he?
Hey, that is so true. And I said it yesterday on my video. The president works for us, guys. They work for us. We're allowed to ask questions. Absolutely.
A waste of time? Oh my God. Please, get on over that. I don't want to hype it enough, but this is shocking what they're trying to cover up at this point. So it's no surprise that all these things are connected and everybody's getting off these crimes. Anyway, another clip.
The prosecution was showing more, just Cassie just sitting around.
The defense showed that.
Defense showed that, yeah.
Just her sitting around not engaged.
Which is it? The prosecution or the defense? And the news was so quick to correct him so he didn't sound shady. Did you catch that? I want you to watch that again.
The prosecution was showing more, just Cassie just sitting around.
The defense showed that.
Defense showed that, yeah.
Just her sitting around not engaging in sexual activity.
Yes.
The prosecution, when you had to have your headphones on and otherwise, what were you seeing then?
There was sexual activity, but I mean, it wasn't really.
It was tame, is what he then went on to say. It was tame. I want to play one more clip. Here so you can really see how this guy spoke for the entire jury, because even Matthew hasn't posted this one, and this one stood by me a lot. I don't think it made my first video. So watch this and listen closely. They're asking the credibility of Cassie.
Obviously, Cassie Ventura testified visibly pregnant for days.
Yes.
How did her testimony impact you in your understanding of the case?
It did. We listened very intently. It was, I think,
take a shot every time he says we.
5 days or forever of thing.
He can't speak for everybody. Like they shouldn't be doing that. What did the judge say at the very end? He says, refrain from speaking about your colleagues or what happened in the deliberation rooms. He can't speak about what happened in the deliberation rooms. You can't speak for your colleagues. I mean, you could get on there and say, well, there was a juror, one of my peers was doing the most or something, right? But he is using we, and that is kind of a bit of a turnoff there.
And it was very riveting. And it was very riveting testimony and very credible testimony.
You believed her.
I mean, I think we did. I think we did. I mean, she wouldn't have done all this just to come up there and lie about everything. So no, I don't think even the defense didn't come out and say or anything like that.
Did the money that?
Wow.
You see, he said we like 4 times there. We all felt this. We all thought this. Dude, how do you know what they all thought? You're not allowed to talk to them about the case. So were you talking about the case? Now, he's an alternate, so some might say, well, it doesn't matter. He didn't really affect the outcome. But he's revealing, and if he's telling the truth, the jury was talking about the case. Who else was talking about the case? This is a big deal. So was somebody else out there sort of feeding people throughout the trial? Like, oh, yeah. And then rewind, he believes Cassie. Oh, yeah. Why would anyone come up there and make all these lies? Good question. But you didn't think it was ST. You didn't think it was Rico. It was consensual. So do you believe her or not? Because she said it wasn't always consensual. All it takes is one time.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Now you've caused this whole community online. It's just like applauding Diddy's freedom. The same guy who finished on Biggie's shirt, apparently on some new lawsuit, finished inside a shirt of Biggie Smalls, filled with, with Diddy.
I don't know if listen. I'm gonna tell you guys something. Some of these civil lawsuits, I have to side eye because, like, I didn't even want to review that lawsuit because I'm like, I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's true. Like, I'm having a hard time now that we've gone, and this is crazy because I feel like I'm shooting myself a little bit, but when these civil lawsuits were coming through, they just came one after another. And then we would see faults in various lawsuits and we would hear different things. And that's not to take away from anything that's been said. But the problem that I have is that some of the people that are like going to file these lawsuits are not going to very credible attorneys, reputable attorneys that have shown at least a line of really good reputationally being able to stand up for their victims. They're going for people that are literally just putting a tabloid line, filing a lawsuit for shits and giggles, and then there's no outcome to any of this. That's the problem that I have with some of these lawsuits. I'm at this point where, like, people either got to put up or shut up when it comes to this. This man has been, convicted of the Mann Act. All right. He was found not guilty of the first, whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not. I just don't know what TMZ reporting on this. Diddy sued and he did something to Biggie's shirt or whatever the hell it was. We're now reporting this. Like, have we not learned anything from the past 2-3 months of this? I'm kind of at this point where I'm over it. Like, I'm like, I don't know what's coming out of it. I don't. Ram, thank you so much for the $4.99. He wrote 350 pages worth of Mr. Diddy, all this hard work that I have done for you. What is 350 pages? Like, man, that's a lot of work. I did jury duty and I didn't write no 350 pages, but I was there for a week, not 2 months. And mind you, a lot of these notes are supposed to, like, they're supposed to just jot your memory on certain things. Thank you, Ram, for the $4.99. Thank you, my love. You're supposed to, like, jot your memory. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of some of these lawsuits. That's kind of how I feel. I feel like put up or shut up. Does anybody understand where I'm coming from with this? We've been doing this Diddy stuff for almost 2 years. I mean, the trial was what, like, 7 weeks, 8 weeks. But we've been reviewing Diddy for a long time on this channel, and there's many other ones. Put up or shut up. That's where we're at. And I think some of us just get tired of the salaciousness, because how do you confirm? What are you going to do? Go find Biggie's shirt and see if there's like stuff on Biggie's shirt? Like, some of these, I'm like, I don't know what to make of it. You said, Rabbit, can we get sick bags for our memberships? I should supply everybody with the sick bag. But that's how I feel, guys. I'm so over it. You know? Where are we going with this? What's going to happen here?
Pure Diddy in that shirt, pure liquid Diddy in that shirt, and then throws it on the dude, getting it all over the dude, the accused. I mean, I'll be honest, after sitting through that trial, as Gene Deal, this guy's a demon, and this wouldn't surprise me at all. This is the kind of stuff he's doing. This is the guy we're celebrating. This is the guy we're glad. Yeah, he wasn't Rico. It wasn't Rico. Even though the juror admits that, yeah, we believed her. She was credible. Why would she come up there and make all that up and just lie? Yeah.
Well, here's the other side to this, because I also kind of like understand this argument. To a certain degree, he beat the feds on the first RICO charge. People are celebrating that. And if you're a supporter, I guess you're entitled to that. On the other side of this it's a bit distasteful sometimes, but it just really depends on where you land on this side of the argument. I personally feel like, if I'm Cassie or a victim or whatever it may be, especially if I'm Cassie, I would be worried, because it's not so much that I'm worried about Diddy. I'd be worried about people doing like the fans figuring things out or trying to harm me over his, over the charge or what they feel like is rightful to this situation. It gets a little bit dangerous, right? I wouldn't necessarily be in fear of Diddy. I'd be in fear of what people that are deranged can do, because in celebration of this quote unquote victory. And the reality is the man is still behind bars. His faith is still hanging between this judge. The judge can use whatever discretion that he wants to use to convict it. He can give him 4 years. He can give him 20. He can give him 10. Okay. He could totally do that. This is what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, how old is Diddy? What, 55 or 56? It's up to the judge how he's going to see this fit. And for his sake, I hope Diddy doesn't do anything stupid behind bars as of now, if he's really wanting to get out, because he's going to have to appease a lot of people, and all eyes will be on Diddy. They are. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys think, but hey.
Yeah, it was credible. But then you didn't believe her. You actually didn't believe her. This guy's absolutely full of crap. He's trying to play it all ways to sell his 350 pounds of notes, is what's happening. And shame on the media for not going more aggressive on him.
Physical notes do not exist, though. Shout out to Andy and Inner City Press. But this would be wrong to say that he's trying to sell notes when he can't, because they're destroyed at the end of the trial. Like, you can't take your notes home. You guys, okay, imagine if you were a juror and you were allowed to take your jury notes home. And you imagine the people that would be using that for books, tabloid media, everybody. Hell, I could see CNN saying, all right, George, we're going to buy your notes for 150,000, per 350. Like, come on. That's wrong. So I don't think that that's the case, but George is George is not doing this for free. George lost income while he was sitting in jury duty, because you don't get paid a lot to sit there. Let's be very real. He lost income. So what is he doing? I'm going to make this money by somehow doing it again. I might have not been in deliberations, but I was an alternate juror, and I'm going to put a little more sauce into my commentary about what's going on. That's what I'm going to do. So he's going to go to these interviews. CNN, I'm sure, paid him a lot of money to make up for the time that he lost during jury duty. Okay. And Banfield did as well. So yeah, I mean, he's just making up his time, guys. He's just making up his money. That's it. He's making the coin. That's right. And he could write a book. Totally. I'd be more worried about Diddy fans than Diddy myself. I would be worried more about the fans than Diddy I would. I wonder if it's just the guy that Mims said that was looking at him at the jury being weird. I feel like it could be him. He might have been looking at everywhere else. I think, was it Mims that baptized him as Mr. Bean? And that kind of just stayed because it's very, well, some of you guys are calling him Quentin Tarantino. So there's that. I'm more concerned about deranged fans than I am concerned about Diddy and associates. I would be more concerned about deranged fans and my safety. I would, more than Diddy.
They're literally tipping him off. Oh, so you meant this. You didn't mean that, right? Oh, sorry. I don't want you to catch you in a lie because, we paid you a lot of money for this exclusive when we promised we would do a softball interview. Is what I assume is what's happening here. I can't prove that, but it's commonplace in the media for that kind of thing to happen. And so CNN's softball here, not picking up. Well, which one is it? Did you often get confused? I would have picked up on that immediately. Is that common? Do you know the difference? What specifically did they show you? Like, no, they weren't here to actually try to rattle the case and get to the truth of this. They did a puff piece that paid this guy off, who's clearly out there, in my opinion, it seems to me, trying to sell his book, which tell me I'm wrong, George. Are you not going to try to publish your notes as a book? Because you'll only prove me right then if you do. And shame on you that you're just trying to get a payday out of all this when you believed Cassie.
You can't publish any. There's nothing to publish, Andy. There's nothing. Shout out to Andy.
Oh, gross. Absolutely gross. And all you people out there celebrating this, how can you not think this is questionable? Oh, yeah, it's not conspiracy theories. Come on, Andy. Are you nuts? This dude is a walking red flag. Tell me I'm not. And I why are we not talking about this? Why are you not all clicking on this? I don't care what side of the political spectrum you are on. This is shameful. So head on over there next. First, make sure you're subscribed here. Hit the bell for all alerts. Smash that like button as well if you haven't already. I'm going to get feisty on both channels.
Okay. Anyways. So make sure you guys check out Popcorn Planet. I think he's talking about the Epstein situation. Andy needs Andy's like going off. He's going off. But that's the thing, that is the thing that we have to kind of keep in mind. Hey Moni, how are you? Yeah, it is Mims who called them Mr. Bean. You missed the notification. Well, did the notifications even go through? That's the question. How can you believe Cassie and then find him innocent? What do you mean? How can you believe Cassie and then find him innocent? Are you talking about the jury, what he said? That's a great question. This is a good question. Waffles Biscuit just asked, how do you believe Cassie and the things that she has said and then still find him innocent about the first charge? We're never going to agree on any of this. We really aren't. But I have a lot of questions about this. We're not going to agree at all. Let me talk about another corrupt person before we get into Jeffrey Epstein, okay? And again, let me know what you guys think in the comments. We definitely spent a lot of time on Diddy, but we have to talk about Eric Adams. Talk about somebody else in New York, okay? Guys, Eric Adams, it's just dropped. When did it drop? Was it yesterday? Or was it today? It was yesterday. Eric Adams accused of corruption by 4 former high-ranking NYPD officers. The ex-officers' lawsuit accused embattled New York City mayor of promoting corruption in one of the U.S. largest police forces. Are we surprised at all? This guy was supposed to get charged, changes political parties, and then doesn't get charged. Changes the tune, and then doesn't get charged. I don't know. It was an investigation. What was it? Was it Damian? Why do I want to say? Is it Damian Williams? The same guy that came forward to charge Diddy. This guy right here gave Diddy the key, the key to the city. Hold up, let me see. Diddy run the city. They're besties. There it is. There's that picture right there. Hold on, my love. Ram says, for the $4.99, thank you. He wrote 350 pages worth of Mr. Diddy. Okay, I think I read that. Ram. Bean did another interview where he said the fact that Jane went from one room to another the night of the domestic was giving reasonable doubt. Como, wow. Thank you so much for the $4.99. I'm going to have to clip. I might do a video where I clip everything that juror number Mr. Bean said. Maybe that might be helpful for the record. I mean, could that cause some trouble later on? That's the question. He was friends with the flash. It is Damian Williams. Thank you, CC. He was friends with the flashy pastor. I'm telling you, man, when the pastor makes more than a lot of people in the country, that's interesting. So, Eric Adams, guys, Eric Adams, New York City Mayor Eric Adams is being sued by 4 former high-ranking police officers who accused him of promoting corruption in the police department by the Associated Press. The separate lawsuits filed on Monday, the former official described a culture of rampant corruption inside one of the country's largest police forces. In his lawsuit, James Isig, the former chief of detective and 40-year force veteran, claims that the former commissioner of the NYPD sold promotions to the tune of $15,000. James says he was forced to resign after objecting to practice. James' suit adds that another NYPD leadership often selected friends and cronies of theirs and Adams in hiring. They used the police department as their own little playground. Each of the plaintiffs says that Adams' approval, they were either demoted or forced into retirement after raising concern about their practices, according to the lawsuit. They claim that the practices began in 2023 with Jeffrey Madry, the former police chief and an ally of Adam, allegedly bypassing standard hiring protocol to bring unqualified friends into positions in the city's public safety apparatus. The lawsuit comes amid the New York City mayoral race. I don't know why this guy thinks that he can run again. Adams is running for re-election as an independent candidate, although he ran as a Democrat in 2021. He was indicted on a federal corruption charge last year, charges which were later dropped in an apparent deal with an upcoming Trump administration. I believe it. And has emphasized the failing criminal numbers under his administration and his campaign. This guy is so corrupt. I just don't know how people don't see it. But hey, to each his own, right? To each his own. Okay, we need to talk about, no, I don't want to open this. Let's talk about Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein, his brother's speaking out, guys. So, speaking of politicals and Trumps and stuff like that. So, Jeffrey Epstein's brother, I think his name is Mark Epstein. Trump administration keeps putting their foot further down their mouth. Mark Epstein, the older brother of the late Jeffrey Epstein, argued Tuesday that Trump administration keeps putting his foot further down the mouth amid controversy over the disgraced financier and 2019 death by S. The case has been backed in the headlines in recent days after the Department of Justice concluded in a memo that there's no evidence supporting claims Epstein was murmur. Let me tell you something. Somebody said something to me yesterday, and I kind of agree with this. I wonder why the reason the DOJ and the FBI dropped this information about there being no list, which we know is a lie, during this time while the tragedy is happening in Texas, just so people don't ask questions about what's going on with Epstein in that investigation. Trump is known. First of all, it would be stupid for people to say, I didn't know, Rabbit. I didn't know that he could have been on a list. No, people knew that he was. People knew. You just didn't think it was like that big of a deal. People knew. People elected and people knew. And honestly, I don't like necessarily blame people because it's kind of like pick your poison. I wasn't too much of a fan of the other, party. I get it. But people knew what was up. They did. They were okay. Because this was brought up, oh my God, so many times before the election. So I don't want to hear it. I didn't know. No. You knew. And now that the information, and he doesn't want to acknowledge it. Some of you guys said, listen, I would be fine supporting him as long as he's transparent. If there's transparency in a lot of the things, that he's saying, I feel like a lot of us knew that he would be on a list. So why are we playing stupid? Like, no way. Like, there's pictures. Are we going to say that that's AI? They were friends. This guy was friends with a lot of people, a lot of political people, a lot of people in high places, a lot of smart people in the industry, Nobel Peace Prize people, a lot of people. So I don't buy for 1 second that people are now like, I get the outrage, but at the same time, I'm like, get out of here with this shit. You knew. Don't forget that Epstein died first of all, he was arrested while under this administration. He died while in this administration. And now there's nothing coming out while in this administration. Like, still, like, let's, and guess what? I love that everybody's calling it out. Because I honestly believe, regardless if your mind is set in two hemispheres, which, sorry, I hear somebody at the door. If your mind is set like, well, it's only this way or that way, guys, something's wrong with this. Let me put Diddy Run the City down. Something's wrong with this. It really is. You mean to tell me that Maxwell is sitting behind bars for what exactly? What is she sitting behind bars if there's no list? What did the lady do? What, is she going to get pardoned too? Ooh, hold up. I hear Baby Bunny. Sorry. Just want to make sure I tend to her in a little bit. Is she going to get pardoned too? Let me know. Yeah. Wendy, you heard that. We talked about that. We did. The corruption is crazy. Why is she sitting behind bars? Yes, don't forget. Then Virginia dies she had conflict with their family. Her family was the one that went to the media and announced that she had ended her life. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying anybody who everything that they're putting down. She was the most outspoken victim. Okay. You had Lizard Lady from the Royals, or non-Royals, or at least the pretend royal lady right here, Lizard Lady, who was attacking her, went on Piers Morgan and was attacking her. Pulled up her conspiracy theories as well, which is fine. We all have them. But Lizard Lady was a huge attacker, bullied her, and then still bullied her even after death. So now what? Charles, how do you release a list your boss is on? Nobody's gonna, like, this is like so top heavy. This is deep. All right. I think that in my opinion, it was intentional for them to release this information during this horrific situation with the floodings to distract from this issue. Trump knew, and a lot of people know, and I'm so glad that the MAGA supporters are even saying this. I don't have to speak. I mean, I don't, clearly, because I'm not a, but they've said it. It's all over Twitter. MAGA's not having it. MAGA is pissed off at Trump right now. And I'm glad that they're saying things for what they are. Honestly, I'm here for it. It further says, Mark Epstein, the older brother of the late Jeffrey Epstein, argued Tuesday that the Trump administration keeps putting its foot further down their mouth amid controversy over the disgraced financier in 2019 death by suicide. The case has been back in the headlines in recent days after the Department of Justice concluded in a memo that there's no evidence supporting claims Epstein was murdered. In an interview on NewsNation, Mark Epstein stressed his views that his brother was most likely murmured. Every time they say something or do something, they try to quash the fact that he was most likely murmured. I don't believe this man ended his life. I don't. I think I'm not buying it. I don't know what it is. Hold up. Epstein's brother laughed at the FBI findings regarding his death. Let me see if it was Cuomo. Was there an interview? I want to see the interview. Is this the interview right here? This has to be it. No, this is Brian Nenton. Okay, because they're talking about all this. I want to see. Hold up. See if we could pull the Mark interview. Oh, he's on the phone. Okay, perfect. This is perfect. Here it is.
The questions that popped into my mind was, first of all, number one, how many suicides has he seen? Number one. Two, is he a forensic pathologist? Does he have a medical degree? Does he have a certificate that he passed the CPR course? Does he have a Boy Scout merit badge for first aid? What is he basing his expertise on? Contrast that to Dr. Roman, who was a city pathologist who did the autopsy. She came out of the autopsy and said she couldn't call it a suicide because it looked too much like a homicide. Dr. Michael Barden, who was there on my behalf, who witnessed the autopsy, also concurred that it looked more like a homicide than a suicide. Now, was Kash Patel in the autopsy room? No. Was Kash Patel in the prison when they found Jeffrey? No, I don't think so. And if he was there, that raises even a bigger question. You know, so every time they say something, yeah, I mean, when Kash Patel came out with that statement, I laughed at how stupid it was. You know, and then they just released this video. This you're going to like. After the death, a few days after the death, Bill Barr, the Attorney General, said he saw that video and he saw that nobody went in or out of the tier, and that convinced him it was a suicide. And I heard that and I realized how stupid that was, because no one could get to that door, go in, kill somebody, leave completely undetected. So that's like an asinine concept.
Yep.
So if Jeff was killed, he was either killed by somebody on the tier or when they locked up the tier. So that's one part of it. Now, I asked to get the footage from that same camera under Freedom of Information Act from 10 o'clock the night before until noon the following morning. That would show who locked up the tier, who were the last people on that tier. And in the morning, it would show, you know, Michael Thomas going in the guard and finding the body, and it would show what the situation was when they removed the body from the tier. I was initially told I couldn't get that footage because it was still an open investigation. Okay, I understand that. But then when the investigation was over, I asked for that footage again, okay? And I was now told that the cameras that were operating don't show that area.
That's right.
I have this in writing from the Bureau of Prisons, that the cameras that were operating
I
don't
remember.
show that. And I was very specific about the footage, and it's the same footage that Bill Barr saw.
No, Mark, listen, I get it. I get it. And the transparency wasn't there. And then they said that there was a malfunction. Then they said they weren't coordinated. And look, I get why you guys are upset about what's happening here. But I can tell you this, it's not over. And it's not about what I think or don't think about the situation. That's not relevant. The process isn't over. Liz, thank you. We'll be in touch whenever you want. You know how to get me. Take care. We'll keep talking. Mark Epstein, we're always a call away. All right?
I don't believe, like I said, this makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And I think it needs to be asked. It continues. He promised transparency, guys. He promised to do the things. He's releasing everything else, but he won't release. Why won't he release this specific situation? Why? If it wasn't for the fact that your boss or his supporters are on this list. And is it even a big surprise? Because we kind of knew. Don't sit there and say you didn't know that he could have been on some list. Yes. Yes, they party together and others too. I don't want to hear it. We knew. Let's stop this lying to each other. We knew. Everybody knew. It's what it was. Did anybody really care? That's the question. How could you sit there and say, I'm really concerned about crimes against children when you have 1,000 victims and nobody's going to get prosecuted for it? Nobody, no people around it. This woman in the prison did it all by herself with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not buying it, and neither should you. I got to go, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.